Welcome everyone. You can maybe already see me, maybe not yet. I see I have the same color shirt as everything behind me. Welcome everyone in the Netherlands. And it's a sunny day, as you can see, but I'm raised that I cannot speak in the camera with just my sunglasses. I will do it like this, at least for now. So welcome everyone in or nearby the Keukenhof Gardens, why I found already beautiful some beautiful flowers just around me. So this tour will be a little bit different from what I'm normally using or what I'm normally doing, because there can be today some travel agents in this, or travel advisors in this stream. So I will tell also a little bit more about what I'm doing, what we are doing, and of course, the focus will be about the flowers. So I see a lot of people already. And yeah, it's beautiful ones, elms and tulips, and there's mainly tulips just behind me. So welcome, Robin, Sharon, hi, Karen, hi, Tish, welcome, Ronnie. Let's see, what do we have? Hi, Trisha, welcome, Susan. Hi, Catherine, hi, Paula. Mitzi, welcome. Hi, Tish. So I think I have already several of the names. So, and of course, also everyone. Um, and hi, Michelle. So, and of course, if everyone who is, if you're not using your name net, it doesn't mean that you're not welcome. I will start this tour in about 5 minutes from now, and you can maybe also see there are a lot of bees just around me. Of course, this is bee heaven. This is bee heaven just behind me. So they're basically everywhere, and it is a beautiful day. Yeah, it's really a beautiful day. It's summer. It's almost summer. It's May 1st. Of course, I would just want to say it's still April, but it's May 1st today. About 25 degrees Celsius at this moment. So that is, what is it, 77, 78 Fahrenheit. So it's good. It's a good day to take you around. It's a good day to see some more flowers. Hi there, to see some more flowers, to see some more of the Keukenhof at the last moments that it is still beautiful, because we are almost at the end of the flower season. So the Keukenhof is open for 11 more days or 10 more days. So it's closing at the 11th, and it is. So it's almost the end of the season, but I can promise you, and I just told I was just inside already. The tulips are still in a very good, or most of them are still in a very good condition. So, but the interesting thing is that in fields around here, the fields around here, most of the flowers are already gone. So about 70% is now already topped or beheaded, as we call it. So, and so we really have to go inside over here to see some of the best ones. And it is almost 6 p.m. over here. That means that the gardens are open for one more hour, and that is the hour that is the most calm. So it's a beautiful day. It's calm. Most people are already going home. I see buses around here of people just going back to Amsterdam or to other Dutch towns. So it is it is the best time of the day, and also the best time in the year normally to be at the flower gardens at the end of April. So what we basically say is between April 15th and April the 30th, these 2 weeks, then you have the best chance to have the flowers up all blooming and most of the tulips blooming. But of course, that's sometimes a little hard, because these 2 weeks are also the two busiest weeks of the year. So, and not only that, this year, for example, we had Easter in these 2 weeks. We had King's Day. We always have King's Day in these 2 weeks. So, and then people coming for the flowers. So that also means for me as a tour guide, as owner of a tour company in Amsterdam, this is the craziest time of the year. So every day we have lots and lots of tour guides coming over here, but also doing all kind of other ones. So, and look, in the meantime, I'm like, yeah, my shirt is exactly the same color as these alums. So I love it. So that's also when we are a little later in the season, then you see these big balls above the tulip fields here and there. Alliums, yeah, alliums. So they are really, really looking good. So I'm just gonna show you, just getting my head away a little so you see how beautiful and deep purple they are at this moment. And yes, of course, I always like to do some virtual tours. I mean, even in the busiest time of the year. So, oh, and I see even the sun is in Chicago. Of course, for a lot of you, it is now still the morning. So, good morning, or at the end of the morning. For me, it is six. Yeah, it's just almost 6 p.m. in 5 minutes from now. So, it's already time? Oh, it's already time. It's already time. Sorry, I can never see that in my stream. So let's go to the entrance. Welcome everyone officially in the Keukenhof Gardens. My name is Stefan. I'm a tour guide in the Netherlands, sometimes also in Belgium. I also have I have my own company, and we're doing tours. We're doing tours basically all over the country. A lot of them in Amsterdam, and of course in this time of the year when the tulips are there, when the tulips are blooming in the fields, but also over here in the flower gardens of the Keukenhof. That is the busiest time of the year, and I'm really grateful that I can take you today virtually through the gardens. At this moment, you still see my face, but later on, I will change the screen and just show you how beautiful the gardens are from the inside. And I'm just gonna show you already how it looks right now. So because I am at the entrance, so we have some fountains over here. We have the parking lots where a lot of cars are. And then here at the left side, we have the entrance to the Keukenhof. And I think this is also the first time that I'm showing this on a tour. So this is where most people are coming in. That also means that first the first moment when we are getting through the entrance, that it will be a little more busy. And then later on, if we're coming further in the gardens, there will be less and less people. So you see really a big sign of what in Dutch we say the Keukenhof. Keukenhof. So it's not Keukenhof, no, it is the Keukenhof in originally Dutch. And that means the kitchen gardens. So we're gonna enter the kitchen gardens, the estate of the kitchen gardens. And of course, we're gonna see a lot of these beautiful tulips inside the Keukenhof. And what I have, because I am here quite a lot, so I have my own card with me with a nice picture. No, not such a nice picture, but with a QR code. So if you now took a picture of this, then you can use this QR code. Only works if you're looking like me. And we're going with this pass. It is, by the way, a pass that is, you see, annual pass adult 2025, including a parking. So I have that because I have been here several times already. So I'm just going to show you my face for a moment. So, and then I'm going to show this man over here. Thank you. Dankjewel. So they're allowing me in again for the second time today. That's the nice thing of having a path like this. So, um, and the good thing to know is that we're now entering the garden, and these are the last 10 days. And so it's good to know, Catherine, that um, they're closing the Keukenhof Gardens at May 11th, and then it is closed until I think March 21st of the next year. So 10 months a year, the gardens over here are closed and they're only open for 8 weeks every year. And it's, of course, these 8 weeks, it is quite busy because everyone wants to come here. And what are they doing the rest of the year? The other 10 months, they are just preparing. So there are 35 gardeners over here. And the only thing that they're doing is to make sure that we have a wonderful time next year again. And this is the first little hill that we see. And it is already a little later in the season, so they placed some new flowers over here. If we would have come here 2 weeks ago, it would have been full of flowers. But they placed some extra ones now. And then when we enter the gardens, then in front of us, and you can see again how beautiful the day is today, then in front of us is the traditional garden. So, and when I'm saying the traditional garden, we're calling it like that because the place over here is more like a garden as we had in the 17th century. In the 17th century, when the tulip became famous over here in the Netherlands, the most of the gardens, of course, the palace gardens, etc., were looking a little like this. And you see, it is quite sunny at the moment with some beautiful white ones over here, fringe tulips as we call them. And so the traditional garden, and this is all based on um, the tulips that we had with we started growing over here at the end of the 16th century. So we have to go back more than 400 years. And more than 400 years ago, there was a man named Carolus Clusius. He was a botanist from the city of Leiden, the beautiful city of Leiden. And this botanist, he was invited to come to the city of Vienna, because in Vienna there were beautiful gardens and everything. And when he came in Vienna, that was for him the first time that he was seeing a new flower that he did not recognize from the Netherlands, because we didn't have that one over here. And that flower was the tulip, or the tulipa. The tulipa, and the tulipa was named after um, the thing that Turkish people mainly wearing around their heads, the tulband. So the tulipa is basically saying the thing that they were wearing on their heads, and that's the first time that they were seeing that. And Carolus Clusius, he loved that flower. And he was also asking, like, okay, where is this flower coming from? Because I'm seeing it now over here. I'm seeing it now over here in Vienna, in the botanical gardens. But where is it from? And they were telling him, like, okay, this one is brought by the Sultan of Turkey. So the Sultan of Turkey brought these flowers, brought the first bulbs to Vienna. Um, but the interesting thing is that a lot of people nowadays are thinking that the tulip is from Turkey. It's also even their national flower. It's not the national flower in the Netherlands, by the way. It is the Turkish national flower, but it's not from Turkey. No, it is not from Turkey. It is originally from Kazakhstan. You have to go a little more to the east, a lot more to the east, to Central Asia, to Kazakhstan. And from there, via the so called Silk Roads, that's how the tulip came via Turkey, in the end in Vienna. And from Vienna, it was brought to the Netherlands by Carolus Clusius. And I'm now right nearby. So I'm just gonna show you a little more. They have everywhere on this terrain also these beautiful tunnels. They're quite dark. So you have these beautiful tunnels, and these were quite famous in the 17th century, because in that time you have to imagine that it was normal for most that in that time these type of gardens these type of gardens were always in the palaces. And in the palaces, the queen and the princesses, they were walking through this type of tunnels. And why were they walking through these type of tunnels? Is because they didn't want to get in the sun. Because in that time, in the 16th, 17th century, if you were sunburned, if you were tanned, that means that you were not very rich. That meant that you were working on the land, that you were working on a farm, for example. And of course, rich people, they didn't have to work outside, they didn't work on the farms. So they are they wanted to make sure that they were never having any of the sun. And by the way, over here we have a little statue of the man that I was talking about. This is Carolus Clusius. the famous botanist of Leiden. And because of this man, we have these gardens over here. We have the tulips over here. We have this whole area over here that is nowadays so famous. And of course, that was not from one day to the other, but you have to imagine that he got some of these tulip flowers with him. He started planting them over here. And soon after he found out, soon after he found out that the tulip is growing here really good because we have the perfect soil, the perfect, very sandy soil. And also Dutch people were seeing that he was, so the Dutch people were seeing this new flower and they loved it. They really loved it. And at the same time, at the end of the 16th century, start of the 17th century, the interesting thing is that's also the golden age here in the Netherlands. And um, the golden age in the Netherlands, that was also the moment that a lot of people had so much money that they could invest. And a lot of these people at that time were thinking like, okay, uh, we are gonna buy these flowers. They're the women of a lot of the seamen and the traders. They were loving these flowers. They wanted them, so they were starting to buy up the bulbs. But not only that, they were also getting, um, of course, they were growing the tulips. So more and more richer, of these richer people were having tulips in their gardens. So, or of course, in their houses, because you can also have them in your house. And the part over here, I said already, this is based a little more on the 17th century. So also several of the tulips that you see over here are more the traditional ones. So because not at day number one, we had all that variation. So that took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of breeding, of cross-pollination, different types. And a lot of the ones that we see over here, both the daffodils and the tulips, are the ones that uh, were already there in the time of Carolus Clusius. So this is basically the traditional, the old garden over here. So, and yes, it is a beautiful place for sure. And I'm just showing you a little part now with some of the older tulips, but we will see a lot more in the coming 45 minutes because this tour will be about an hour in total. And it is really, we have the best time. You maybe see it already around me. There are less and less people. That's always the last hour of the flower garden. So when I have guests coming over here, we're always saying, like, okay, maybe if you have time, if you really want to go for the flowers, then make sure that you are in the Keukenhof Gardens after 4 p.m. And then, for example, from 4 to 7, because then you have the sun going down, you have the golden hour, and it's also less busy. Also on the roads, by the way. So if you're going back after 7, there the roads are a lot calmer. And yeah, I see already several favorite ones. I can imagine. I never know. I'm always thinking like this is my favorite one, and then at the next moment, I'm finding another one that's also my favorite one. So, but also look at this. Okay, we have the sun going down, the golden hour almost, and then we have this beautiful bed over here with tulips, mainly tulips. I see some daffodils here and there between them, and such a splendid combination of, or maybe even explosion of flowers in all kind of shapes, in all kind of colors. And I'm now going over them as if we are a sort of a bee. Sometimes going the bee view. So with the bird eye view, this is more the bee eye view, or the bee view. Imagine that you're a bee, then this is heaven, isn't it? So, and I'm always a little sad that I cannot have you smell what I'm smelling right now. And oh, there's even, oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? No, I would love to have a way that you can not only here and see, but then you can also smell because it is a subtle smell. Tulips are not have not a very strong fragrance, but it is beautiful. And yes, you're also seeing some late daffodils here and there. So, for example, over here, just on the side, look, this beautiful daffodil with a little ant. This is then also more the ant view. So think about you are that little ant, then this is your world. If you're living as an ant in the Keukenhof Gardens, then of course you will look like this. Looking to the top to see all these beautiful flowers. The heaven is very colorful for the ants over here in these gardens. Okay, just going going over, and it's maybe even more beautiful with the sun, isn't it? I'm just getting you a little here in the middle. So now it's calm, but of course, there are every year hundreds of thousands of people coming over here to see the gardens, and most of them are coming around this time of the year. So from half April to the end of April, if you're a little earlier, because the gardens are opening already. The gardens are opening already at the end of March, so March 22nd this year, or 21st this year. But then the first 2 weeks uh you don't have tulips yet. That's coming a little later. So the first 2 weeks are a little, you have to focus a little more on hyacinths and daffodils. And then in from April on, the tulips are coming. And then only the last 5, 6 days, then if you're a little unlucky, then you will see a little less. So, and Robin is asking, what are the costs to enter the gardens? That is in dollars, about $25. So that's a little less in euros. So, and the interesting thing is that it is, just to give you an idea, from Amsterdam, I came now driving from Amsterdam. It is 30 minutes if you are at the right time. It's 30 minutes from Amsterdam. It is 15 minutes only from the airport. So some people are also doing it as an airport layover, just to visit the gardens for some hours and then in the next plane. Um, and it's also nearby the city of The Hague and nearby the beach. Not to forget, the beach over here is only 10 minutes away. So, and look how beautiful these red ones are. The more uh, standard tulip, although this is a double tulip, as we call it. So it has a double layer of petals. And now the prices to enter the garden are not so high. That's true. I also want to show you the ones here at the second row. Look at these ones. I mean, look at the size of these tulips. Again, double tulips. The size is like the size of my hand. When I'm opening my hand, it's the same size. And these ones are so heavy that they're sort of falling. So it is not like the ones that you're used to see, but they're literally just falling because of their heaviness, or at least most of them. So, and of course, Susan, there's a lot more to see than only tulips. It is, of course, also a sort of we're presenting the Netherlands. So here on the terrain, there's a um, beautiful windmill, and yes, there's also an organ. Of course, we have to show a little more from the Netherlands than only the tulips. But the tulips is the main thing. So what they're doing every year is they're planting about 7 million tulips. So 7 million bulbs are planted to make sure that we have this little flower heaven every year. And Tris was saying like the ones before were almost like peonies. That's true. That's true. They are a little like that. And then you have these side streets over here. And yes, Cheryl, you can zoom in on the flowers, but sometimes it's not even necessary because I also will bring you nearby in this purple bed. Although some of the darkest ones that you see over here, we're calling them black tulips. So most of the colors that you can think of, we have. The only color that is not there is the blue tulip. So zooming in is not really necessary. And then, I mean, look how beautiful this is with the sun just going down, and then this beautiful, yeah, it's a mix again. So what you see over here, you have to imagine that these 40, there are about 40 gardeners every year that are working the whole year round. And when they're working, they are designing basically the gardens for the next year. So only 2 months a year it's opened. So only 2 months a year is open, and the rest of the year they're preparing. And one of the preparations is literally to design all these beds, to design, to think about the best color combinations, uh, the best variations, the best mixes. And if you're interested in some of these mixes, what you can do is you can write down the mix, or you can write down the names of the tulips and daffodils and other flowers, anemone sometimes, hyacinths that you see, and then you can order them. So, so look how beautiful this is. This is magic, isn't it? And this is already a little older. I see some of them are starting are at the end of their blooming period already. And that's also the big difference between the gardens, where they let them bloom almost to the end, and the commercial fields. Because in the commercial fields, what they will do over there is they will behead literally the tulips just at the moment that they are on their most beautiful. And that is because they what they're doing by beheading them, by cutting the top. By the way, that's only for the tulip. We see the ones over there, they did that already. So if I'm, for example, focusing on these lily tulips that we have over here, so they're literally cutting just above over here. And then the energy from the tulip is not going to the flower anymore, but it's going down to the bulb. So, and by doing that in the commercial fields, they are making sure that the tulips are getting stronger, are getting a lot stronger. So it is, and of course, stronger bulbs, bigger bulbs, they can earn more money with it. So that is the whole thing. That is the whole thing of it's all commercial, and we are basically um, selling the bulbs, and the better and the bigger the bulbs, the more money the flower farmers can make. So that's why they are cutting them and topping. So only here in the flower gardens they're doing that very late, too late to be honest. So the bulbs are not used the next year again. So because they're not so strong anymore. So every year they're planting 7 million new tulips, and next to that there are several millions of other types of flowers. Oh, it's so beautiful over here, everywhere. So wow. Hmm. Look how beautiful this color combination is. And then over here we have a combination of pink, purple. Yes, Robin, that is what I mean. So they are in the fields, at least. They are regrowing, or what they are doing is the strongest ones will be sold. The strongest ones will be sold, and the smaller ones they're replanting for the next year if they're not too small. But some of them replanting for the next year, and some of them have to wait a little longer. But if they're strong enough, then the next year they will get a new flower. And look how beautiful the combination of colors are. So here, a nice yellow orange one. Wow. And you see so many variations in color, in height, in also in how the tulip plant is looking. So you also have variations in there. So there are 10,000 of different variations, and from these 10,000 variations, there are only several hundreds that are over here in the Keukenhof Gardens. So only the stronger ones, the ones that are where they know that they can commercially make more money, that are the ones that are presented over here. Because that's also good to know, and a lot of people are forgetting that, is that the Keukenhof Gardens are basically for the flower farmers to present their newest breeds, to present their newest variations that they designed in, let's say, the 15 to 20 years before. So, and if you are another company trading, for example, tulip bulbs, and you think like, oh, these narcissus over here, or these daffodils over here, narcissus in Dutch, we like them. I mean, these are a little older already. We love the color combination. I like this type of flower. Then, in this case, you have to you have to contact the company that you see over here. In the meantime, there's spiders now everywhere over me. So, and then you can buy these bulbs. So, but it's mainly business to business. Of course, if you're coming over here as just an individual, you can also get these bulbs. You can get these flowers. You can order them if you want. Um, but yeah, the main thing it is for other companies that wanna buy some of the bulbs. Okay, I see some longer text. It's always a little harder for me to read while I'm walking. So I just wanna show you a little more of the gardens. We're going around this pond, and as you can see, there's a beautiful, also the gardens itself, the whole estate over here is quite beautifully designed. So they want to make sure that people have a good time. It's 80 acres, by the way. So the gardens are quite big. And of course, they are spring gardens. It's not only the flowers. There's not only the tulips, there's several types of flowers, and it's also like, for example, over here there are some beautiful trees that are also blooming. So it is a combination. And yeah, the interesting thing is that the around the Keukenhof Gardens, you have to imagine there are all the commercial fields, like big, big, big fields. So not seven, and then inside there are only 7 million, and outside there are billions and billions of tulips that are grown. And so basically all for the bulbs. And about 85% of all the tulip bulbs worldwide are coming from this area. So, and then we also have some other uh, areas in the Netherlands where we're also growing. So we almost have in the Netherlands the monopoly on the tulip bulb. So, and the thing is, so if you think like I have some nice ones that I wanna buy, then you can of course write down the name, and then you can go to one of the shops here on the terrain, tell them that you want to buy something, and then basically you're ordering them. So you're not getting them immediately. You're not getting them immediately because it is not the time to buy the bulbs right now. So until you have to wait until September, October before you get your order. They will send it to you. They will send it to you to make sure that you will have some. Look how beautiful also the azaleas are over there. Wow, it's such a explosion of colors, literally everywhere. And also, I mean, we have over here on the right side one of the pavilions. One of the pavilions, if it's bad weather, if it's a colder spring, then we have a lot inside. Now there's hardly anything to see anymore. But also look outside on the rhododendrons. So I'm just gonna show you from nearby how beautiful these flowers are. Look how amazing. Wow. This is and welcome Vivian. Welcome back in the gardens. Vivian was just here with me. I did a tour for her and her husband. By the way, I did not a tour in the Keukenhof Gardens. She could have done that, but she wanted to stay too long, so the whole day. So I took her to some other locations in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam. So, but it's good to have you back, and as you can see, the flowers are still very beautiful. I'm just going to the other side of the pavilion over here. And because it is over here a little in the shadow, the quality of the flowers is still a little better. So they're not in the full sunlight. So look at the ones over here, for example. I'm not using a filter, but look how red and yellow, the combination of these double tulips. The red ones are called the Miranda. The yellow ones is called the yellow pomponette. Wow. And I saw a question about the fragrance. It's not very strong, but to be honest, these ones I can smell. I can smell just a little bit. Just a little bit. And one of the things also look at the statues that are here in the gardens. There's a lot of art. In this case, there are some statues of uh, the type of tulip that we're calling the parrot tulips. So, wow. And it's always magic when I'm here in this time of the day because, as you can see, most people are already gone. So it's just some people that are coming here for the same as what I'm doing to see the gardens without a million other people. Because if you're here around 12 o'clock, for example, around noon, then it will be filled and filled and filled of people. And yes, it's also, Catherine is saying that it's also the light. Of course, for that we have to be a little lucky because it's still the Netherlands. We still have a climate, and in this time of the year it can rain a lot. This year we're quite lucky we didn't have a lot of rain, but some years are very wet. But today we have the sun going down. And yeah, it is quite overwhelming. And it's also, yeah, imagine then these gardeners that are every year getting 7 million tulip bulbs from the farmers, and then they have to decide together what kind of design they want to make. So, designs like the one over here, for example, with red, yellow, white. And here, by the way, it's smelling stronger because in the middle part there's still some hyacinths. And as you maybe know, hyacinths are extremely fragrant. Oh, wait. Look how beautiful it is over here. So you have everywhere these little side streets with, again, of course, tulips. And Sarah is saying, I can spend the whole day here. I can completely imagine that. It's 80 acres, so you have a lot to walk around. But again, I would recommend if you have the time, stay a little longer. Make sure that you're also here after 5 p.m. because then you can have it like what it is today, the gardens with not a lot of other people. And if you're lucky, it is a sunny day like today. Also look at there's still some blossom in the trees. It is a little the end of the season already for the cherry blossom. And also at the other side, wow, 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 wow. And yes, and when I'm saying it's already a little later in the season, you can see that on some of the tulips, like the ones over here. You can see that the petals are starting to get older, also depending a little how much sun they had. But to be honest, it is still beautiful, isn't it? It's still beautiful even when they almost start blooming, almost ended with the blooming. Oh, and then over here, I'm just gonna get you a little more nearby. We have some of the what we call the black tulips. So the queen of the night, the most famous black tulip. And as you can see, it is not completely black, but it's almost getting there. Almost getting there. So it took them about 250 years. Imagine that, 250 years to get the black tulip. So when we finally have them, although not 100%, the Queen of the Night, one of the most famous ones. And Michelle was saying like that that she was here when it was raining. Yeah, we do not control the weather, and of course these tulips also need a lot of water. They need it. They need the rain. And but to be honest, I've been here now several times also with gray days or days when it was raining a lot, and it is still beautiful. It's still beautiful. So of course this is also special, but to see all the raindrops on the petals, I mean, that also gives a special sight. And this is, by the way, we had already the bee view, and this is maybe my favorite view, just to go through the tulips, in between them, the end view, the bee view and the end view, both of them. So, okay, yeah, it can also be wet and cold and rainy. Yeah, I know, Dutch weather. I'm not controlling it. But if it is good weather, then imagine that you're sitting over here in this little hut on the side, surrounded by white tulips in this case. And to be honest, the ones over here are magical. They're magical. Look at this. What's this? So the white, it's almost like a wedding dress, isn't it? Or like a dress, beautiful white dress. And then with the sun shining through the petals, it's making it even more beautiful. I'm also gonna try to get on the other white ones over here. Let's see if I can get under them a little bit. Look at this. This is magic, isn't it? Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm just going towards the other part. So this is the also the little calmer part. And as mentioned already, because of more shadow and the trees are now quite green, still light green, still spring, of course, but they have more shadow, so they can stay a little bit longer. And one of the other ways is because it's open over here for 8 weeks. So of course they want to try to keep it nice during these 8 weeks, and they're doing that with in different ways. One of the ways is because just you have to imagine that a tulip is blooming for about 3 weeks, and the gardens are open for 8 weeks. So they have to make sure that everyone that's coming over here has some beautiful flowers. So one of the things that they're doing is you have some of the tulips that are early bloomers, some of the tulips are late bloomers. So they're planting both of them, and also in different techniques. And one of the most famous techniques, and if you've done tours with me before, then you have been hearing me talking about this before, but they have the so-called lasagna technique, named after the famous Italian dish. If you have a lasagna, you're layering. You're just layer after layer after layer. And they're also doing that with the bulbs of the tulip or of the flowers. So they're basically making 3 or sometimes even 4 layers just above each other. And then, of course, the ones on top, they will start blooming earlier, while the ones at the bottom, they need more energy to come above the ground. So that will take them longer. And that's how they want to make sure to have a longer time uh, of flowers blooming. And next to that, they also have some variation. As you can see over here, the aluminiums, they are a little later bloomers. So you see them most of the time from the end of April. So for some variation, they place some of them too. And this is pink and purple, isn't it? And Susan is saying I'm rubbish at lasagna planting. Hopefully you can make some good lasagnas. So, and then leave the planting to the professionals and come just again to see the flower gardens over here. And the alliums are beautiful, I know. So we have a little less of them. So because they are, what I said already, are blooming a little later, but it's nice to have the variation. Also, these new rhododendrons over here. Wow. And also what you can see over here, also look at so they're not only playing with the colors, but they're also playing with the heights. So you have the smaller ones and then the higher ones in the middle. So while the small ones over here on the side, they're maybe 1 feet high, while the ones in the middle are almost 3 feet high. So that's one of the ways how they are doing that. And then I want to show you one of the parts that is really my favorite. And that is over here. Look at this little river of grape hyacinths. So it's just they planted a lot of grape hyacinths all together, and uh, together they're forming almost a river. And they were already a week ago at its most beautiful. So, but I think still it is impressive to see this. And the ones over here had a little more sun. So yeah, so inspired, if you're inspired, so you can make your own little river in your garden by just planting these grape hyacinths. And yes, it is very beautiful for sure, but it is everywhere beautiful. So that's the thing. And it's also for me the combination now of the weather, the tulips, the rhododendron, the azaleas, uh, all around, giving all the colors of the world almost. Not so much blue, although the grape hyacinths were blue, of course. Mm, mm. Yeah, we're calling them grape hyacinths. Thank you for saying that. And then here on the side, I just wanna show you some other French tulips. So look at the shape of the petals. They're so different from the normal tulips. So this is more like the traditional ones on the sides, and then the French ones, it's almost looking like a completely different tulip, but it's still a tulip. It's one of these 10,000s of variations that we have. Yeah, that is the interesting thing is also, as you know, I've been now here several years in a row, and every year is also a little different. So it's not exactly the same. So every year they are rethinking about some parts, about some areas, and it is literally designing. It's like it's not gardeners; they are almost architects designing, landscape architects designing what how they want it to look like the year after. So and yeah, this is also look. I think this is like a giant. I'm not tall enough, but it looks like a giant heart over here, made from different colors. Okay, just going over here. And then, of course, also yellow and blue, yellow, red, and blue in a nice combination with the grape hyacinths on the bottom. So also look at the combinations and the mixes that they're making. And just to go to the other side, red, white, and blue. Look at this. Wait, I'm just going a little more nearby. I'm also going to give you a very Dutch view. Red, white, and blue, that's the Dutch flag. And then, of course, very Dutch with a little windmill at the back. It's just a tiny one. I will go a little more nearby so you can have it better in the view. We also have a big windmill and a real windmill on the terrain. Oh, this is a small one. There's more red, white, and blue over here. And also look next to the windmill to the right in the water. There's a little sailing boat, and the sailing boat has a very interesting shape because it is they used a big clock, a big wooden shoe. Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? And also look at the combination. I love it with the grape hyacinth at the bottom, and then the flowers on top, or the tulips on top. So it's a beautiful combination of different heights. Yeah, I like the shot. So yeah, a lot of people were posing over there. To go a little faster. So over here you can see me. I'm walking the whole time over here with the boy in my hand. So of course, normally I'm just live tour guiding, taking people around the gardens. Some people want me really to take them around and to tell a lot of the stories that I'm telling you right now. Some other people are saying like, no, okay, we just want like a short, let's say 30-minute or 1 hour tour, and after that they will have their own time to take pictures. But I can also just help with taking some of these best shots because I know or we know some of these best locations if you want some of the good pictures for yourself or from your family. Then look at this again. Wow, this is amazing, isn't it? Fringed double tulips. It's almost like that. If you look at these ones, that they're looking like roses, but no, they are tulips. They are tulips. It's the Tulipa Pink Magic, the name of it. The Pink Magic tulip. If you want to search it, if you like them for your garden, look for the Tulipa Pink Magic. And talking about pink magic, that's also over here. We look what we have over here. Beautiful azaleas. Just on the side, it is like a magical little piece. Oh, with a just going a little on the side. Wow, this is amazing, isn't it? And then at the other side, we are now a little later. Yeah, there are a lot of people waiting to take a picture. But at the other side, you have all these trees. They're cherry blossom trees. So 2, 3 weeks ago, they were fully blooming. Now they're almost green. You still see a lot of the last flowers, but not so many anymore. But look at this. Wow. So I'm just, of course, it's not only flowers, there are also so many other plants that are blooming and are giving their colors. So as said before, it's an explosion of colors when you're coming here, even more in this time of the day. Yeah, most of the cherry blossoms are here already gone. So, and then here on the side, of course, it is again time for tulips. It's time for tulips. There are a lot of them. And yes, of course, these gardeners are very dedicated. So some people are sometimes asking, like, okay, Stefan, can you then show these green tulips? Now, over here, we have a combination of green and yellow. I mean, they're looking a little more edible because of these colors. To be honest, I would not eat them. Uh, it's not really, it's not really something very nice. Even the tulip bulbs. I mean, we tried to do that during World War II in the last year of the war, when people are starving. They tried to eat the bulbs of the tulips, but no, it is not. It's horrible, to be honest. It's a horrible taste. So better just to look at them, and only your last resort is to make a salad of tulips, or to use the tulip bulbs instead of onions. Wow. Look also how beautiful these ones are. I love the variation of the colors. Oh, Susan still has a nice recipe with rhubarb and custard and tulips. Okay, that's interesting. I would not try it. I would not try it. But yeah, look at the variation again of all these different colors. And then the azaleas at the back with some nice pieces of art, by the way. And then, of course, some more beautiful art. It is basically everywhere. People are posing now in front of the azaleas. You can also imagine that. It's hard. They're doing the whole time photo shoots, but there's more to see. There's more to see. And yes, also the wisteria. Yeah, I almost forgot. It is now also the time of the wisteria, so we can see them growing over here just above us, with the sun coming through the trees. So there's so much, so many variations. And of course, again, beautiful pink of the azalea. Okay, I'm just, let's see, looking at the time, because after a while I will get kicked out over here. So it's the last people that are still over here. We have some other beautiful beds. And I also want to show you something else typical Dutch, because I'm now in the corner where they placed a windmill. Look at this. A Dutch windmill in the flower gardens, of course. We cannot have these beautiful tulips without some other Dutch elements. So a beautiful, a really beautiful windmill that's placed over here, by the way, in the 1950s. It's originally from the northern part of the Netherlands, from Groningen, and they replaced it over here because it was not in use. It's not in use anymore. And I want to try to see if I can get some good shots of it, like with some aluminiums, some flowers. I see the parrots over here. Yeah, and of course there are everywhere people. That's the hardest thing. Just gonna try to do it from the other side. Yes, it does work. It does work. The only thing is that today there's hardly any wind. There's hardly any wind, so that's why it's not working today. But yeah, on other days it's still in use, although they're not making anything with it anymore. So it is not that they're grinding something or pumping something or sawing something, as what we normally do with windmills. So, yes, exactly. This is the Netherlands, isn't it? A windmill, a drawbridge, some wooden clocks, and tulips. That's our country, or at least a traditional country. I mean, just to give you an idea, we have about 900 windmills in the Netherlands left. It used to be more than 10,000, but we now have only 900 left. It's still quite a lot all over the country, but mainly in the western part because the majority of these windmills were used to pump out the water. I'm just trying to get even a better shot with the drawbridge. Wait, just gonna see if I can do that. The drawbridge, some alliums, and the windmill. This is so Dutch, isn't it? So very Dutch. Only the cheese is missing. I'm too late. The cheese shop is already closed. So don't forget Miffy. Okay, Miffy, that can be the last thing. The last thing that I'm gonna show on the way to Miffy. I also want to show you, look, how it looks in the sun. How pink, purple, white are looking. Wow. This is at the end of the day. Okay, I'm just making my way. Just making my way towards Miffy. That's just around the corner over here. And after that, I have to start walking back because the gardens are closing. But of course, it's everywhere beautiful. There are also a lot of these locations where you can take pictures. Like for example, over here, that is the Dutch flag. Look at that. The Dutch flag, just based with red, white, and blue flowers. So I hope you already enjoyed it. And of course, again, this is a virtual tour I have been doing, and not only me, but also I have several guides that know even more about these gardens than I do. So some of them in this time of the year, they're almost coming daily or five, sometimes six times a week, because there's so many people want to see all the flowers over here because of course it is something unique. So I'm just going to show you for a moment my face. Here's my face again. Hello, everyone. And I've been the whole time just behind, so just trying to get the best shots. Sometimes almost laying on the ground, sometimes at least on my knees, because otherwise I cannot get the shots, of course, under. So I have to lay on the ground for that. Um, I'm really want to thank you already for joining me today. So um, I'm around the corner of Miffy. Although Miffy itself, oh, it's not so nice here anymore. But I have a Miffy that is made out of this, and that is over here. Look at this. It's a giant Miffy of a mixture of hyacinths in all the colors. They basically have white, purple, pink. So it's nice how they how they made this. So hopefully you all had a good time. I'm doing these tours. I mean, today it was a little different because I also wanted to show you the entrance and telling a little more about how it goes when I'm taking people. But I'm really grateful for everyone who is supporting me, so I can also keep on doing these virtual tours. So this is for this year the last one out of the flower garden because as you can see already, the quality of the flowers is not so good anymore. So the next one will be most probably in Amsterdam again or another Dutch city. I didn't plan a new tour yet, but I hope you enjoyed it today, and I want to thank everyone for joining. And I hope to see you again somewhere else in the Netherlands, or maybe next year when the flowers are back here again, in if maybe virtual or maybe even in real life. So thank you again for joining, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye.